Here we are. Welcome, everybody. This is just an introduction to the whole idea of Open Attempt, the organization, and also the Knowledge Festival being organized by Open Attempt. We are here, the three of us, with Dr. Vinayak Nair and Dr. Mahesh, who are two of the main components of the Open Attempt organization. And we will be explaining some of the ideas that made us move into this direction. So the basic idea is that we have certain issues all around the world. This is pretty obvious. We have to get to some solutions for existing problems, for us as people, for human beings, for our bodies, for our minds, for our environment, for the whole natural process around us, for the air we breathe, etc. So Open Attempt is an organization to find these solutions and to find ways to manage a better life, and not just finding some things that we could maybe approach or something, but to find real solutions that could work over time and to try to implement them by approaching governments and approaching more people and trying to put those ideas into actions. That's the main idea. The second really important idea is that basically we have very many solutions to issues around the world already at our hands. Ideas and concepts and some even things that are being done are already known around the world, be it health problems, be it some environmental issues. People are already doing things the right way and it's working. And the idea is, if we just manage to bring everybody together so that we know, so that we understand which way is working and which is not, then we can find a way that works for all of us, for the whole world. So therefore the Open Attempt, so it's open, so you can come in. We do not need just the experts to work with us. We need everybody to work on these problems, because we don't have too much time to spend on personal issues or something. We need everybody. We need everybody to come in. We need everybody to chip in energy, ideas, and also to help implement those ideas, because at the end we can approach governments, we can approach institutions, but if we all do not get behind any idea, then most of the time nothing happens. So this is very important. So basically Open Attempt has four main departments. This is health, this is environment, agriculture, and human values, which all in all, is in any kind of situation in life, you have those things. You have health and agriculture with food and with human values. You have all kind of politics that go along with those human values and the situations that people are living in and all those things. And we need you to come in and help with your ideas. So on the Open Attempt website, openattempt.org, you will find the links below to our organization and also to the Knowledge Festival. You can bring your ideas to the table. You can submit issues that you know of. Let's say you have something not working right around your place. Then you could submit that issue on the Open Attempt website. There is a section to submit it, and we will put flags on a world map where we will be trying to categorize all these issues, so that, like on a short look, you could see where you could help, where you could do something around your this is a long-term project. It's just started, so it will take some time to be full of possibilities to work around the world, but it's going along. And so this is Open Attempt. We just need to build up this base of people who are willing to do something. And the Knowledge Festival is kind of the way to execute the main idea, the fundamental idea. The Knowledge Festival is an international conference, is an online conference. We had planned to do this conference as a real world conference in Vienna, actually last year, but as we all know, things went differently, and we had to go new ways. We found a way to do it online, which might even be a more effective way to reach more people, to reach more ideas. So now we have the Knowledge Festival website, where you can find all the information. The idea is that we put together a conference of capacities on a certain topic, of experts and panels where we discuss certain things, and for each conference we have a certain topic. So for the first Knowledge Festival, we have, due to everything that is happening around us, we have the Knowledge Festival about the immune system. So now we are gathering experts from different medical fields from around the world, be it the modern medicine, Ayurveda, Siddha Veda, or Persian and Chinese medicine, or African, Japanese, from all around the world. We have been in contact with experts. We've already put up some interviews and pre-talks, and we bring them together to see what all these systems have to say about the immune system, how we can develop a recipe for a better immune system all around, how we can use parts of each of these systems to enhance our daily life, and also let's say the immunology of the whole world. So we will be coming up with some results by the end of the Knowledge Festival, which will take a week of daily online presentations, discussions, and interviews, right at this time on Zoom. And by the end of that week, we will have kind of a synopsis of all the papers and ideas that have been presented and discussed. Dr. Nair will go into that in a deeper way to explain what this synopsis will be about and what we'll do with that. But that is basically the essence of what we can do, the essence of the solutions that we would have at hand for that particular question. So now it's the immune system. We bring people together, we bring their ideas together, we get some kind of essence out of that. We get a recipe for a better and more effective way to handle that issue. And then we write it down, we make a whole text out of it, and we approach institutions and governments and try to implement those ideas. Just for you to understand, this is one topic. So the next Knowledge Festival will be about a totally different topic, and the name festival is put in there for you to understand. It's not just a meeting of experts who will just, throw around with their knowledge, and you have no way to be part of it or bring in your own ideas. It's just the opposite. We want really people from all parts of life to participate in that. So it's not just that you could bring in your paper if you are a researcher, a doctor, or a professor, whatever. Even if you are a practitioner or a patient who has had certain experiences, you could write it down in a scientific way, of course, and submit it. So for that, you would go to the knowledgefestival.org website and submit your papers there. So we really want everybody to jump in, send us any ideas you have. For this time, it will be the immune system. Next time, it will be something totally different. One topic out of our four main departments: environment, health, human values, and agriculture. And there are so many solutions around the world, it's endless. And with that, I hope everybody has a nice idea of what the organization Open Attempt is set out to do. Of course, it's a nonprofit organization, and also the Knowledge Festival is which is very important, is absolutely free to everybody to watch. So we will be streaming it to all our social media channels. So everybody can watch, everybody can comment on it. Your comments might even get into the discussion. But if you want to take part in the Zoom meeting, you need to either send in a paper, because for those who send in the paper, there is a participation included, or you should take part in our discussions on Facebook and other social media channels, because we will be giving away free entries to our Zoom meetings, to the Knowledge Festival. Because once you are inside the Zoom meeting, you can take part in the discussion, you can bring in your own questions, you might even be part of a discussion that will be taking place between different participants of the Zoom meeting. So for that, you either need to submit a paper, take part um, in our questions and discussions on the social media channels, or just go to the Knowledge Festival website and buy a ticket, which is just for a nominal charge of €30, which is the lowest amount we could take, and which goes to the whole organization of the online Zoom meeting and bringing together everybody. So we just set the price at the lowest possible for those people who want to be part of it. If you just don't want to pay anything, just go to our YouTube channel or to our Facebook channel and just watch it live and be part of the discussion. So now with that, that was the introduction and the basic idea behind Open Attempt as an organization and what you can do there. So please just go and submit your stuff. And with the Knowledge Festival as an international conference, which will be taking place in the online space, and where we want to have as many people included as possible. And with that, for further explanation on the scientific approach and the synopsis and how things will be put together and what happens with them, we will go to Dr. Vinayak Nair, and I will just mute out.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you, Wes, for summarizing that in such a nice way. The part of actually bringing it into a structure where we can actually make use of all that knowledge is not an easy work, but I think it's not a difficult task too. I mean, yeah, it is no different than solving any other problem. And for us, because we are in this time, in this pandemic situation, I think it'll require a global solution where, as you said, we will have to come together as one to kind of find out what we need to do. And I think we should be humble enough to say that actually probably we don't know what we have to do at this situation, because there are so many questions and answers which actually still there, which we have to answer. So as we picked up this topic of immunity, as you must have seen, the topic is understanding immunity and in ways which we can optimize it. So we have divided that topic into kind of 10 subtopics, which starts all the way from understanding how the immune system develops, to what are the components of immune system, how immunity is, what are immune response, how our body reacts, the aspects of nutrition and environment on immune system, and all the remedies and herbs and vaccination and all these aspects we will be able to discuss during this process actually. So how do you validate something like that? Because what we are asking is, as Wes explained, we are asking everybody to contribute. So this doesn't limit to a particular say study which says okay, particular thing works, but it is also applicable to practitioners as well as teachers and people in the field who have experience with regard to immunity actually. So for example, if we take example of a simple sentence like turmeric, which everybody knows, curcuma or curcuma longa, if we say it is antiviral, how do you validate a statement like that? It can be validated. Of course, we know now, for example, with scientific studies that there is curcumin, which has some antiviral properties, and therapeutically we have been using that for already also right now in dengue fever, in chikungunya, and in Zika virus cases, and also in hepatitis C and things like that. So we want to validate a statement like that at different levels. One of the levels that we are looking into is, one thing is if there is some historical or cultural evidence to that. That means something like that has that been something new, or it has been practiced throughout for a long period of time. With turmeric, I think especially in the part of India, we have been very culturally using that for very, very long time. So you have traditional, especially in the Vedic culture, you have references of turmeric, how it has been used. So there's a long ancient history of what turmeric is doing it. So there's a historical as well as cultural reference. The second part is practitioner's validation. That means a lot of people, as a practitioner, I know how well turmeric will work in certain conditions, So a practitioner can come out and put his validation through certain case studies and things like that. The third thing is if it is scientifically studied. So as I said, now we know, okay, probably curcumin in curcuma longa is having antiviral property, So that it is some of the studies which has been done. So people who are in the research field, they can come and put those ideas there. Also, we can take up studies which have been published published as well as peer-reviewed studies. So also validation based on that. So there are some research done, but some of the research has been actually peer-reviewed. So validation based on that, but also validation based on your personal use. As you must have used turmeric in many ways to actually help with your problems. So even that part you can actually bring it in here. And also with turmeric, you can see there is also an inter-global or intercultural use. So it is not limited to kind of India, it's also Southeast Asia, Europe, and even in other part of West, people know about turmeric. So there are many ways, it can be validated. So not just because it has some chemicals in it, it is antiviral, that actually limits the knowledge in a very small way. So anything that you bring in, for example, if you make a sentence that exercise improves your immunity, or mother's nutrition is important for babies' health systems. So anything that you make, you need to bring in a certain validation or certain claim behind it. Actually, Dr. Mahesh sir will explain what those validation points and how a contributor can actually explain those things. But the idea is that all of us can come and put forward the ideas. There's a process involved. Once you put your idea, what happens? I think Dr. Mahesh will explain to you that. But the point I want to make that everybody can contribute. At the same time, we have to say that we are not here to give you ready-made answers. We are actually a platform where we all can come together, ask questions, ask answers, discuss about it, and come to a certain conclusion. So every time, whatever we conclude, it will be put into public for review. So you're free to actually come in and actually suggest again some corrections and things like that. So be participative, and that's what we want people to do that. So as part of that, we are also actually putting out some questions on Facebook as part of the discussion. So there will be almost like 50 questions in the next 50 days, almost 5-6 questions related to each subtopics. And I think you can go to our Facebook page and actually go through those questions. And if you think you can contribute something there, you can actually comment right below that. Or if you have more data which you want to put in, you can straight away go to the website at knowledgefestival.org and actually submit over the form there actually. And you don't have to actually even log in to do that. You can actually do that straight away. But if you want, you can also log into the platform to do that. Now, it is also not limited to, as I said, answers. You're also allowed to ask questions. That means if any questions are something that you would like to know, you could also post it through the comments. The part of what happens actually from there, once you contribute, I think I'll ask Dr. Mahesa to actually explain that part of the process. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vinayak and Vish. And very good afternoon for everyone who is going to be looking into this video. Well, the idea of Knowledge Festival, as Wes has already given, it's a participatory one and not restricted to any set of people or experts. It's something where everyone can contribute. Now, what happens when someone contributes? So when things are open to all, basically everyone has an idea. Some may be contributory in a very little way. Some may be having a very considerable contribution into that idea. So what we need to understand is we need to compile all these ideas, make into a very concrete concept, and then give back to the people, give back to ourselves, in fact, such that we can get the benefit of these concepts. But saying that all ideas may not be worth it. Sometimes there may be flaws in their idea, so which has to be tested, reviewed, and then made into a very concrete ones. So as a result of that, we have instituted a process in this Knowledge Festival. so that we'll have a series of validation right from its entry till it is accepted. So in the basic first step of aspect, when an idea comes into our website through different means, say through the registration process, or through the contribution of synopsis, or through the methods of answers that is seen in our social media handles. So it will be reviewed basically by the open attempt organization team. So such that the basic review of having a worthful idea, worthful comment is being taken into consideration, and then that goes into an advisory committee. So as the knowledge festival what we are conducting is having different systems participating in that, right from modern system to Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, African system, etc., etc. So all these systems are uh, having individual advisory boards. So those who belong to the system, those who are in the most limelight of this system, they have been considered and they have been taken into the advisory committee. So once your ideas that is being submitted is screened by the open attempt organization, it is sent to the advisory committee, who will review it and pick up the best among them, such that with the help of the scientific committee. So they will be guiding the scientific committee, who will be going through each and every part of the paper or idea that is being sent or that is being submitted to us, so that a core idea about the a core knowledge of that particular idea is being extracted. And in the due course of time, we'll be uh, giving chances to certain number of participants who have the best papers to present themselves in the uh, main festival or main event, such that their ideas, their papers will be worth to be known to everyone. While the remaining, which has not been selected, they will be made into, or they will be consolidated into a single idea, which will be considered as a synopsis. Now, there are two aspects that we have to see here. One is the a souvenir, and the other one being the synopsis. Synopsis is written by a synopsis writing committee, which will be the summarized one and a very brief uh, note, which will be helpful in giving the idea of this particular concept of immunity, so that they can be presented to the different policymakers, governments, and other people who can bring in the effective change in the society, such that the whole humanity is benefited. Now, the souvenir is another part where the different papers that is being considered or that has been accepted by us by the scientific through the scientific committee, those will be printed, or rather it will be written in that souvenir. Uh, Mainly the abstracts are being written, and then they will be presented to the participants who have uh, registered themselves either through different means of contribution. Now, with respect to the contribution, we have three different means of contribution. One is the paper contribution, that is the knowledge contribution that they have in the form of scientific papers that they are going to be submitting us. And once it is being adjudicated by the scientific committee, accepted by the scientific committee, then their participation will be validated, and they have a free entry into the validation process or into the main event. The second method of getting a free entry is to give answers to the questions in the social media. So the best two answers of each question will be awarded with a participatory ticket into the Zoom meeting during the event. And the third one is to buy a ticket of 30 euros, as uh, my colleague Wes has told you. So where on buying the ticket, also any individual can join this. It's an open uh, platform for everyone to participate. So it is not that only money is necessary to participate. So we have other means through which and anyone can participate. But the only thing is you have certain restrictions, like you have a paper to be which is to be scientifically valid and accepted by our committee. Second is you have to give a valid answer, which is again going to be reviewed by different teams, namely the open attempt team, the scientific team, and also the advisory team before the validation of that particular answer is done. And once validated, they will be, or the best two will be given the participatory tickets. So before we go into the what all the other methods, I'll just brush up the instructions that contributors have to give or have to keep in mind during when they answer the questions that is being published in our website. I mean, in our social media. So basically, the questions are open to all. As Vinayak has told, this is an open platform and not restricted to any person, any particular segment of the field, like the practitioners, researchers, academicians, teachers, and any public for that matter. The questions are open. Their experience at times are the best sort of knowledge, and it will help it is, it is better that they help each other, and through this platform, what better can be done. So here the questions will be open to all, anyone can answer, but and all answers, one has to bear in mind that it should have a suitable authentic reference. Now the reference can be a published article, or it may be based on a book which is printed and possessed by the uh, individual who is answering. So a copy of that page or a reference of that book has to be given while someone answers, and not just a statement. Then it can also be a data from a government website or a department book or a PDF, which can again be attached, and any other, like any relevant experience which may have a sufficient data support. Now the statement may not be validated, but it can be a postulate with which uh, with a sufficient amount of data or a support, so that why the contributor has arrived to that particular conclusion is clearly highlighted. Then this is everyone is free to give a suggestion. So whenever you feel the you have a suggestion, you can just give a suggestion to that particular questions. And as I told, two important or two best contributors will be having an exclusive entry into the festival event. So this is the basic instruction that is necessary. Now once the validation is done, we'll also be going into secondary papers. Secondary papers in sense in which those which may not be contributed to us, but which is freely accessible in the open libraries, which is published all over. So those papers also will be screened while writing a synopsis. That is why it is different from synopsis. Will have a very core matter where the whole matter in which they with utmost references and authentication, so that we can give to the policymakers to have a better policy, health policy. And lastly, I would like to thank for all the contributors who have done till now, and I also wish that the world looks into this platform and give their own contribution so that we achieve the goal of health for all. May not be 2020, but 2030 at least, with a more comprehensive approach. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
All right. So now we have an all-around nice look into the whole approach. We hope you know the basics, and for any more information, just go to the websites. We put all the links just below the video, and get your information, be part of it, jump in, and with that, I say goodbye and hope to see you.